Hey, welcome. If you've ever finished an RPG, stared at the credits, and just sat there processing your emotions like you got dumped by a fictional wizard, yeah, you're in the right place. This list isn't just cool games, it's hand-picked RPGs with rich worlds and bold stories that actually stay with you. Stick around, and hey, if you vibe with this, maybe hit subscribe. No pressure. Mass Effect 2. You ever boot up a game and within 10 minutes you're like, oh, this is gonna be my entire personality now? Yeah, Mass Effect 2 does that. BioWare basically said, let's take a gritty space opera, sprinkle in loyalty missions that emotionally wreck you, and toss your choices into a cosmic blender. You play as Commander Shepard, humanity's last hope, with a voice so commanding it could lead a cult, and it kinda does. The Normandy feels like home, the crew like friends you almost trust not to die, and the Reapers, existential horror in the shape of interstellar calamari. Combat's sharp, faster than the first game, and yes, biotics feel like space wizardry done right. But the real beauty, it's in the talking. The awkward flirting, the ethical debates, the guilt trips from Garrus when you miss a shot. This isn't just a game, it's a sci-fi heartbreak simulator. And honestly, worth every Paragon or Renegade point of it. Pillars of Eternity. If you've ever stared at a dialogue box longer than you stared into someone's eyes, congrats! You're already spiritually bonded to Pillars of Eternity. Obsidian's love letter to classic isometric RPGs is basically a 60-hour fantasy novel. Except you get to argue with Ghost and punch fate in the face. Set in Eora, a world where souls reincarnate like it's on a loop and babies are born soulless for reasons that are definitely not chill, you play as the Watcher. A poor soul blessed or cursed with the ability to read people's past lives like they're badly organized Wikipedia pages. The world building here is so dense you could chip a tooth on it. Towns feel lived in, politics are messy, and every side quest is written like a Shakespearean tragedy, but with more fireballs. Combat? It's real time with pause. Translation, chaos that rewards strategy, or pausing every 3 seconds to survive. It's not just for lore nerds, it makes you one. The Thaumaturge. Imagine if Sherlock Holmes dabbled in exorcisms and hung out with Slavic demons between therapy sessions. That's the Thaumaturge in a nutshell. Set in 1905 Warsaw, where imperial tension simmers under cobblestone streets and spirits don't wait for permission, this is one of those games that feels like it knows you love the strange. You play as Victor Scholsky, a disgraced Thaumaturge, aka someone who can see into souls and command demonic beings called Saluters. Yes, it's dark, brooding, and beautifully cursed. The atmosphere? Think foggy alleys, velvet-draped parlors, and vodka-soaked secrets. It's not just a vibe, it's an occult fever dream wrapped in turn-based combat. And the story? Equal parts philosophical, tragic, and what even is free will anymore? Every choice you make bleeds into who Victor becomes, and which inner demons you literally manifest. It's slow burn brilliance, moody, smart, and unafraid to punch you in the brain with existential dread. Lost Odyssey. There are sad games, and then there's Lost Odyssey, which gently rips your heart out, reads it 30 pages of poetic tragedy, then hands it back with a polite, "You okay, champ?" Developed by Mistwalker and helmed by Hironobu Sakaguchi, aka Final Fantasy's dad, this Xbox 360 gem follows Kaim, an immortal man who's lived 1,000 years, and remembers maybe 3 of them. As his memories return, you're treated to a series of short stories called 1,000 Years of Dreams, and no exaggeration, some of them are better written than 90% of modern fiction. The world blends magic and machinery, filled with towering cities, rusting dreams, and people trying to make meaning in a world where death isn't guaranteed. Combat is turn-based and tactical, but it's those memory sequences, just text and music, that'll wreck you. It's slow, it's heavy, and honestly, it's unforgettable. Bring tissues, and then bring more. Kingdom Come Deliverance. Ever wondered what Skyrim would be like if dragons were replaced by tax disputes and you couldn't hit anything with a sword for the first 12 hours? Welcome to Kingdom Come Deliverance, where immersion means you'll probably die of hunger before you die in battle. Developed by Warhorse Studios, this is the most painfully realistic medieval RPG you'll ever play. You're Henry, just a blacksmith's son with zero plot armor and even less upper body strength, thrown into the political mess of 15th century Bohemia after your village gets absolutely obliterated. The world is stunning. Rolling hills, dense forests, and towns full of suspicious peasants who all seem one ale away from yelling witch at someone. No magic here, just steel, sweat, and a combat system that feels like medieval fencing school with a side of existential panic. It's clunky, slow, and absolutely worth it. It doesn't hold your hand, it makes you earn everything, which in a weird way makes it feel real.
You're dead.
Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines. Bloodlines is that one friend who's brilliant, charming, kind of a mess, and somehow always ends up dragging you into some morally ambiguous 3 a.m. adventure. Released in 2004 by Troika Games, broken at launch, beloved ever since, it's the grungy, blood-soaked RPG that refuses to die. Fitting, right? You wake up, newly undead, in the dark, neon-lit underbelly of Los Angeles, where vampires run nightclubs, feed in alleys, and argue about politics like undead philosophy majors. You choose your clan, ranging from suave manipulators to sewer-dwelling lunatics, and then get dropped into a world so immersive it feels like it's breathing down your neck. The dialogue, sharp. The quests, wild. The haunted hotel level, straight up nightmare fuel. And the freedom to be seductive, psychotic, or just depressingly bureaucratic, chef's kiss. Yes, it's janky. Yes, the AI sometimes forgets how doors work, but the soul of this game, undeniable. Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. There's magic, and then there's Studio Ghibli magic, which hits different. Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, developed by Level 5 with animation from Ghibli themselves, feels like someone bottled childlike wonder, gave it a wand, and told it to save the world. You play as Oliver, a young boy who tragically loses his mother, yeah, we're starting strong emotionally, and stumbles into a parallel world full of talking creatures, evil wizards, and one very thick, accented, lantern-wielding fairy named Drippy. He's Welsh, he's chaotic, he's perfect. The world is bursting with color, charm, and enemies that look like rejected Pokemon in the best way. Combat's a mix of real-time movement and command-based attacks. Almost like if Final Fantasy and Pokemon had a really wholesome baby. But don't be fooled by the cutesy art, this game hurts. It's a coming-of-age fairy tale about grief, courage, and healing, wrapped in some of the most beautiful visuals ever rendered on a PS3. Final Fantasy VII Remake. You know a game's iconic when just hearing the menu sound hits you with a tidal wave of nostalgia and emotional trauma. Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't just a glow-up. It's a full-blown reimagining of a classic that somehow manages to feel fresh and sacred at the same time. You play as Cloud Strife, ex-soldier, walking anime haircut, and professional brooder. He's roped into a rebellion against Shinra, a corporate nightmare that literally sucks the life out of the planet. Welcome to Midgar, a still jungle where neon lights never sleep and the air smells like capitalism and Mako fumes. Combat is flashy, frantic, and surprisingly deep. You can't just mash buttons. You have to think, dodge, and pray Aerith doesn't get one-shot by a random robot dog. The story? It takes wild new turns, bold ones, timeline-breaking, brain-melting ones, and somehow it works. It's beautiful, ambitious, and a love letter wrapped in chaos. And I couldn't look away for a second.
Cloud, be careful!
The Banner Saga. If you've ever wanted a game to quietly whisper, everything you love will fade, peaked, while handing you a beautifully illustrated death march. Congrats, the Banner Saga is your new wintry obsession. Developed by Stoic Studio, this indie tactical RPG is basically Norse mythology meets Oregon Trail. The world is dying, literally. The gods are dead, the sun has stopped moving, and an ancient race of armored nightmares called the Dredge are sweeping through the land like doom on stilts. You lead a caravan of warriors, refugees, and broken people trying to survive one brutal decision at a time. Combat is grid-based and strategic, but it's the choices that cut deep. Who lives, who dies, who resents you forever, it's all on you. And no matter what you choose, it always feels like you just disappointed your entire fictional village. The art, gorgeous. The music, haunting. The tone, like someone painted despair with watercolors. And I loved every cold, painful second. Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 2 doesn't hold your hand. It barely acknowledges your existence. And honestly, that's part of the thrill. Capcom took everything weird and brilliant from the original and cranked it up, unleashing a sprawling fantasy world where getting lost is a feature, not a bug. You're the Arisen, chosen by a dragon who literally rips your heart out. That's how the game starts. From there, it's chaos. No fast travel, unless you plan for it. No level scaling, just you, your pawns, AI companions with opinions, and the ever-present threat of dying to gravity while climbing a cyclops. The world is stunning. Goblins raid at night, and NPCs don't care if you're on a quest. They've got their own problems. Combat is fast, weighty, and lets you live out your Monster Hunter parkour night fantasies. It's unpredictable, raw, and weird in the best way. An RPG that dares you to figure it out or die trying.
I will sell you to hell herself!
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You ever scream "for Odin" while petting a cat and customizing your longhouse? Assassin's Creed Valhalla is that beautiful balance of brutal Viking warfare and quiet introspection, where one moment you're decapitating Saxons and the next you're drunk fishing with your crew like it's a deleted scene from the Northmen. You play as Eivor, Norse warrior, raider, and low-key therapist for half of England. Ubisoft went all in on the open world RPG thing here, dropping you into a stunning myth-touched version of Dark Ages Britain. Rolling hills, crumbling monasteries, and suspiciously philosophical druids, it's all here. Combat is weighty, gritty, and surprisingly elegant once you stop button mashing. Raids are loud and bloody. Eivor's journey is full of betrayals, visions, and weird hallucinations that may or may not involve Odin giving you life advice. It's bloated? Sure, but when it hits, it really hits. Plus, you can fist fight a nun. Game of the year.
You can't win this, Leofrid. Even if you defeat me, the Rachnisons have won the day.
I have fought many a day in my time. I'm still...
Quick pause. If you've made it this far, you clearly love deep, weird RPGs as much as I do. So hey, consider subscribing. No pressure, just good vibes, great games, and the occasional existential crisis wrapped in pixels. All right, back to it. These last three are something else. Persona 3 Reload. Persona 3 Reload is what happens when an existential crisis puts on a school uniform and drops you into the middle of an anime apocalypse. This isn't just an RPG, it's a psychological deep dive in the shape of a calendar, and it hits harder than your high school diary ever could. You play as the silent protagonist, New Kid at Gekukan High, who discovers there's an extra hidden hour between midnight and tomorrow called the Dark Hour. During that time, people turn into coffins, and you get to fight soul-devouring monsters by shooting yourself in the head with something called an evoker. Totally normal stuff. Gameplay is a slick mix of turn-based combat in the massive randomly generated Tartarus Tower and daily life management. You go to class, hang with friends, and try to balance trauma with trivia quizzes. It's stylish, heavy, and sometimes deeply unsettling. And Reload makes it even better, with gorgeous visuals, smoother mechanics, and enough emotional weight to ruin your week in the best way.
In this situation,
Torment Tides of Numenera. If Planescape Torment was that weird, brilliant philosophy major you dated in college, Tides of Numenera is their even weirder cousin who lives in a pocket dimension and speaks only in metaphors. Developed by In Exile, this is a slow-burning, text-heavy, brain-melting RPG where combat is optional, but thinking mandatory. You play as the last Castoff, a former body of an immortal being who jumps into new hosts like he's skipping reincarnation queues. Naturally, you're being hunted by something called the Sorrow. And no, it's not just a clever name, it's literal existential doom. The ninth world setting is unlike anything else. A billion years in the future where remnants of dead civilizations litter the landscape like alien breadcrumbs. Sci-fi, fantasy, horror, it's all here, wrapped in prose that reads like a fever dream wrapped in poetry. Gameplay leans on conversations, moral dilemmas, and choices that genuinely matter. You don't just play Torment, you debate it, analyze it, and occasionally stare into the void mid-dialogue.
I need to shake this.
Where Winds Meet. Where Winds Meet is what happens when Wuxia Cinema leaps off the screen and lands in your lap as a fully playable living legend. Developed by Everstone Studio, this open-world action RPG places you in the late Ten Kingdoms period of ancient China, a chaotic, war-torn era where honor, philosophy, and stylish swordsmanship dance in perfect harmony. You play as a mysterious swordsman, equal parts wanderer, warrior, and philosophical wallflower, navigating shifting alliances, ancient traditions, and breathtaking landscapes that honestly look like someone painted Serenity onto your screen. Combat? Oh, it's poetry in motion. But the soul of this game isn't just in the blade, it's in the quiet, the moments between fights, the way the wind stirs your cloak as you stand on a cliff, wondering if peace is ever truly possible.
莫冷了我一番钟情。
And there we have it. Deep, weird, beautiful RPGs that prove storytelling in games isn't just alive, it's doing backflips in slow motion. If you felt something, laughed, cried, questioned reality, drop a like, leave a comment, or just whisper thanks to your screen. Totally normal. Want more RPG chaos, hidden gems, or games that emotionally destroy you in new and exciting ways? You know where to find me. Subscribe if you haven't already.